So I just finished reading Lolita in Tehran by Azar Nafisi. I figured I want to talk about it. I literally just finished this, and I wanted to get a review out while my thoughts on it were fresh. So this is a memoir by a current and former college professor. Mrs. Nafisi was a professor in the University of Tehran during the 1980s into the 90s. And during that time, there was a tumultuous political situation in Tehran stemming from the 1979 revolution, where it was an Islamic regime that was instituted as after the fall of the monarchy. And Azar demonstrates that or talks about that and has this memoir to document her dealings with that. So she was an English literature teacher, and she formed a secret book club with pretty much her favorite students, about 10 women and one guy who was married to one of the students. They were married. They were both students. And they met on Thursday mornings in her apartment and discussed famous works of literature, works that we might take for granted today, but which were looked down upon and heavily censored and suppressed in the Islamic Republic of Iran. So, I mean, these are things like, obviously, Lolita, works by Nabokov, Jane Austen, Henry James. These were all kind of looked down upon, frowned upon, and were discouraged from being taught at the university. So she had this kind of extracurricular group that would meet, and you get an amazing insight into what life was like in the late 80s to mid 90s Iran. Was not awesome. And then at the time, there was geopolitical events outside of the revolution. There was the Iran-Iraq war that took place. And so hearing it from the perspective of this woman who's a professor trying to maintain her career, and struggling with the changes that are being implemented by the regime, and also dealing with the war and the sadness and the loss, it's a lot. But it is a beautiful memoir. If you like literature, because so many rep books are referenced in this, that classics that you might have seen on TikTok or otherwise, or Instagram, you might really appreciate this. You don't have to have read the books like Pride and Prejudice or Wuthering Heights, though they are referenced a lot as source material for this woman's story, but it helps. Either way, fantastic memoir. I do recommend it. Reading Lolita in Tehran.